What's up, guys? Welcome to Beyond a Degree, where we're going to be talking about engineering technology and why I chose to become an engineering technologist. If you don't know, engineering technology focuses on the application of engineering principles to real-world problems. While traditional engineering often emphasizes theoretical design, engineering technology emphasizes practical implementation and ensures that the designs work efficiently in practice. This field encompasses various disciplines such as mechanical, electrical, civil, and industrial technologies. Each of these areas involve applying scientific and engineering principles to design, develop, and improve products, systems, and processes. Typically, in engineering technology, if you decide to major in it, it's more focused on hands-on learning and practical skills compared to a traditional engineering degree. Programs often include internships, lab work, and real-world projects. Why did I choose engineering technology? I chose engineering technology because I failed calc. When I first started my academic journey, the school I went to allowed us to practice essentially every single discipline of engineering. So I started off as a mechanical engineer, got to do electrical work, civil work, environmental work, coding, and industrial work, I believe. With that being said, I did very well in my first 2 years of college. I struggled with math a little bit because I didn't take it as seriously in school. Take your math seriously. But beyond that, COVID happened, and essentially it got to the point where I had to switch schools. And with the fact that I failed Calc 2, I passed Calc 3, get off of me. I transferred schools due to COVID, and essentially my school wanted me to redo Calc 2. And unfortunately, I didn't pass because doing Calc 2 online, plus trying to work and maintain the job, paying for everything, it didn't work out for me. However, I was able to jump right into industrial engineering despite that fact, and I did a couple of industrial engineering classes, process improvement, and just enjoying that nature of things. Unfortunately, due to the lack of a Calc 2 credit, I had to drop out of industrial engineering, which landed me into engineering technology. Did I enjoy my engineering technology classes? Yes. I did fluids, I did thermodynamics, I did material science, I did all of the traditional classes that a mechanical engineer would do. I also learned how to do SolidWorks, AutoCAD, Revit, CNC CAM programs. I also got to work inside the shop and do everything within those natures. So that to me was a lot more educational and entertaining for me on the educational standpoint, just mainly because I was able to be more hands-on, get with these projects, and I was able to do a couple internships, being an engineer in respect to working with a lot of cross-functional teams. And on top of that, I had internships in working with electrical systems. And with my previous school experience, a lot of our projects, we didn't just do a junior and a senior project. We had a project every single semester. So my first year project was doing environmental monitoring, making sure windows are green efficiency, making sure you're not leaking, doing a whole temperature setup, setting up the code, the wiring for these sensors. And my sophomore year was setting up an RC car in which we had to have a nice, RC car able to hold a certain amount of weight, drive straight on a track, and we did pretty well with that. So that more hands-on experience was a lot more fun, being able to apply engineering versus whatever Isaac Newton said about bananas falling on his head a couple years ago. Who cares? Essentially, adding all that up, I ended up in engineering technology just because, unfortunately, bad coursework, but I did get to enjoy my engineering coursework a lot more after that fact. So learning more harder topics, but being able to apply it to real life things definitely helped out. So with me working through school and everything else of that nature, I've picked up many positions, especially with doing a lot of applied engineering. So working within Excel and being able to adapt to using, Revit, AutoCAD systems, using SolidWorks systems. It was a great transition from there. Essentially, towards the end of my senior year, I got a job as a drafter. So realistically, You know, I personally didn't want to stay in mechanical engineering for a very long time because I didn't want to sit behind a computer all day. I sit behind a computer all day now. But I didn't want to sit behind a computer doing like design work, drafting, or just analysis all day. However, I still ended up being in that position after school, even during school, really. I was a drafter for a year, dealing with MEP systems. We could discuss that later. But, you know, being able to adapt to using Revit and then seeing a more comprehensive view of some of the systems and things that we're building on in a real life setting was definitely helpful. It definitely helped me out. And then I currently transitioned into a construction engineer role, which I'm doing right now. So, and I am once again working with cross-functional teams. I personally did not focus on a lot of construction or civil related material. However, with the engineering technology degree, since I was able to pivot between every single role, you know, picking up some of those things for me, or just, I guess, picking up things for engineering technologists like yourself could be a lot more easier than a mechanical engineer trying to go into civil, or civil trying to go into coding. Just being that, you know, instead of a generalist, as people say, being a jack of all trades, as I like to call it, is, I think, a better option, especially in terms of engineering, because it allows you to be more flexible. I'm making this video to tell you that despite wherever you are in your engineering career, or whatever they say, engineering technology is still a valuable piece of engineering. As long as you're going to a 4-year or 2-year, you could do a 2-year degree in engineering technology perfectly fine, because all you need to get your FE and everything else like that is maybe some schooling. Maybe if you don't go to school, you can still become an engineer as long as you have applicable work. But if you did a 2-year degree with a bunch of applicable work, you can still apply to take your FE. And even if you are an engineering technologist at a 4-year ABET, make sure it's ABET, accredited program, you are still able to become, in theory, an engineer, because you're going to still have to take your FE, which is, you know, your fundamentals of engineering training. Me personally, you know, some might look at it as what discipline am I looking for when I go to take my FE? I am going to take the FE other. That's just, I feel like, more aligned with the coursework that I take. But just because you took engineering technology doesn't mean you have to take FE, like your other FE. You could take mechanical, you could take civil, anything that aligns more to you based on what you concentrated more in school. So at the end of the day, you could still become an engineer. You are still valuable. You are still in the same caliber and class as any other engineer, as long as you're taking your FE. Of course, I'm not at my PE level or anything like that, but after those 4-5 years, I believe, of you doing applicable work, still allowed to do your PE. So, you know, 4-5 years, I keep forgetting, my bad. But you could do your PE and anything you like and still become a engineer at the end of the day. You may not have done mechanical, civil, environmental, you know, while you were in school, but as long as you're taking an ABET accredited course and you end up in engineering technology because you believe in more like fundamentals or applying the stuff that you're actually learning, it's still perfectly fine. So do not let anyone tell you that the engineering technology major is not as valuable as any other discipline, because at the end of the day, you can still do whatever you want, and whenever you get a job, they're going to train you. So when they're training you and you like that,
what? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Whatever they're teaching you, or you don't like whatever they're teaching you, the same way as a mechanical engineer going out to work for any other company in mechanical engineering and they don't like that role, they're still able to pivot to other roles just because they have that degree, they have that FE, if they do, if they don't have to. But, you know, you are still an engineer at the end of the day. You are still marketable. You are still valuable as any of your engineering peers. Do not let anybody tell you. Some of the smartest engineers in your classes may not be the smartest when they get out into industry. And even when you get out to industry, you may not always be the smartest engineer within that sector, you know, your company. Thank you for watching. I don't know. I need a better thing than that. Let's